Hi friends, happy Friday, the 30th of June. Nice to be with you. Father Bill Hill, priest at Holy Spirit Catholic Community in Rock Springs, Wyoming. Using a little technology, I'll share a reading with you. I'll share a reflection with you on the daily readings. The daily readings are linked down below. Click the link, read the readings prayerfully, slowly, maybe even read them 2 or 3 times, and then turn off the screen. Spend some time with God before you move on to other things. You all may know that Thursdays are my day off. I'm taking an extra day this week, so I'm hopefully gone again today, out hopefully exploring the Sweetwater River Canyon Wilderness Study Area. I've never been out there. I kind of wanted to go check that out and see what that looks like. So I hope that you are having a wonderful Friday in anticipation of 4th of July weekend and all of that good stuff. We're working on the book of Genesis, stories of Abram and Sarai, and the Gospel of Matthew. So, book of Genesis, we have today and tomorrow very similar texts. God who is now promising an heir to Abram and Sarai. We hear that they get new names, Abraham and Sarah, and that God's covenant will be through all of the generations. And a sign of belonging to God, a sign of God's faithfulness, is that all the males will be circumcised. Like in Easter time and other times as we discuss that really difficult question in the first generation of Christians, this is where it comes from, right? Is some of the promises of God to the ancestors of Israel. And so we hear God speaking about blessing them who are old with a child. And in this text, Abraham laughs because it's so outlandish that they would bear a child. Tomorrow, as we gather for the lectionary, it's going to be Sarah that laughs at this promise. But it's God who does remarkable things, miraculous things, unexpected things. I don't know necessarily that we've experienced this, right? Being well past childbearing years and not having children, then all of a sudden finding ourselves pregnant. But still, to marvel at God who has done great things in the human story, God who is still doing great things in the human story. And lots of times I like to personalize this, make this about ourselves. But here might be the place that I'm thinking about praying today. It's easy to get the news, and we get, snippets of the small things that are happening in here and here and here. And lots of times it's negative, right? Because that animates us, and so we click and we pay attention, and then there's advertising dollars and all that kind of stuff. But maybe we just sit aware that God is still working powerfully, not just in our story or people of faith, but that God is working in the midst of the human drama and is bringing something great that we can't really conceptualize or understand, but that God is still active in the midst of the human story. Maybe as we read these old texts of Abraham and Sarah and God doing remarkable things, we also just marvel that God continues to work in the human family. Maybe we ask that we might have a bit of a sense or an understanding or an awareness that God is powerful. Okay. Gospel of Matthew. For the last several weeks, we've been working on the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7. Now Jesus has left the mountain. He's done with his inaugural sermon, and now he's going to go and live the reign of God in the midst of these villages. So we have a leper, person with a skin condition, who is outside of the towns. If you will it, you can make me clean. And Jesus says, I do will it. And then he touches this leper. To my understanding, I believe that Jesus then becomes ritually unclean. So Jesus is willing to come out of himself and to extend himself to one who is suffering and in difficulty in order to share goodness and healing and grace. So a couple of things that you might want to pray into there. One is just that will of God for our good. The will of God to be full of goodness and care for us. And then also we might want to pray into God who comes out of God's self, right? In creation or in the incarnation. God who becomes one of us, the story of Jesus, and saves us from our sinfulness, from our own selfishness. And we might want to see ourselves as that man that has the skin condition and aware of our own need for healing, our own inability to do everything perfectly and to navigate it all, to just turn to the Lord and say, if you want, you can change my life. And Lord, I'm a mess. I need your help. Please, with your grace and your touch, change my life. Something like that. So what do you need to pray into and with these readings? I'm done. You read those readings prayerfully and then turn off the screen. Spend some time with God before you move on to other things. Happy Friday, especially if you have some time off coming up. May it be time for rest and recreation. May God bless all y'all. Have a great day.